Now it is time for the part of the show you've all been waiting for. We're going to be crossing live to the CFMEU rally that is happening right now at Emma Miller Place. We've got Bill on the line. Are you there, Bill? We can hear the speech already.
Are you there?
Yes, we're here.
I'm here listening to Jade. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear him. I guess we'll just listen in.
People would have never had to dig a bastard splinter out from under your nail side. Then you got to rip that fucking nail to get it off.
Language warning for the next hour. These speeches will be pretty full on.
They have no perspective on the trials and tribulations in the daily life of the construction worker. They don't understand us. And it's their ignorance that will see them defeated. Because what they don't get is that the CFMEU is not me, or Michael Ravbar, or John Secker, or Kane Lau, or any of the other leaders that have been sacked. The CFMEU is all of you. And trade unionism is that fire that burns inside of you. That's what they can't defeat. We only get beaten if we let them beat us. And we're not going to let them beat us, are we? The CFMEU is here to stay. Trade unionism in this country is here to stay. History will condemn our class enemies. The truth will set us free. It will set all of us free from the chains, from the shackles, from the control of the political elite, the people that have got power and privilege, that have never had to struggle, that have never had to know or worry about how they're going to pay their bills. These people that don't walk in our boots, and when they stand to try and judge us, the ones that look down their nose at us, the ones that think they're better than us, well, how dare they? How dare they seek to judge us? We build the wealth of this nation.
We built this city.
We absolutely built this city and every structure. That's what union labour does. We build it safely, we build it with quality, and we should be proud of what we do. All we need to get is our fair slice of the pie. Don't let it make you feel guilty. Don't feel like you ever have to apologise for being treated with dignity and respect when you go to work. Like you, I've had a gutful of being made to feel like we've done something wrong for asking for our fair slice of the pie. Enough is enough. It's got to stop, and we're going to make it stop. I say CFMEU, you stay here to stay. CFMEU! Thank you, brothers and sisters. Let's win this fight. Comrades, can I get Cash and the kids? Can you come up here, please? Come up here. Comrades, this is Jade's partner and kids. It's no small thing for union officials to be up at the forefront. It's what we do. The thing, what you don't see behind, what our engine room is for a lot of us is our loving and caring families, They give us the strength, the solidarity, the respect, and the love to continue doing what we're doing. So I'd just like you to give them all a round of applause. Thank you very much, Jade. All right, up next we've got a ETU Queensland and National update and a Southern States update from ETU Queensland Northern Territory branch. Assistant State Secretary Chris Lynch. Thank you. Cheers, Wendell. Jeez, I drew the short straw, didn't I? How the hell do you follow that? What I do say, Jade, stay strong, brother. The ETU will be behind you, 100%. We're in this with a long fight, and we will fight. We will fight until this undemocratic law gets shafted. Before I go on, I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet. Pay my respect to the elders past and present. This is Aboriginal land, always was and always will be. Comrades, this bill was passed 3 weeks ago. And Jesus Christ, hasn't a lot changed in 3 weeks? We've seen Sally McManus. The so-called leader of the union movement. I call that, she's a piece of shit to do this. I would suggest that Sally hasn't got a union bone in her body. Anyone that can sit there and call themselves a union leader, a unionist, or anything to do with the union movement, and not come out against that proposed bill and see it for what it is. All it is, guys, is an attack on the union movement. They've aimed up at one of the strongest unions in the country. They're thinking that if they get rid of the CFMEU, then the rest will follow. Well, let's send that clear message. They want to touch the CFMEU, then they'll be touching the ETU, then be having a crack at the plumbers, they'll be having a crack at the AMWU, and then having a crack at all other unions that Jade mentioned just there. So touch one, you wankers, you will touch us all, and you will feel the wrath of the union movement. Anyway, it's what I was here for, to give you an update. As I said, we've seen Sally McManus come out. She wants to sit there and double down on the CFMEU. She wants to sit there and say that the CFMEU are misogynistic pigs. Well, that's not the CFMEU I know. I can tell you I've been in the union in the ETU as an organiser for close to 14 years now. But over the last 5 years, I've been working closely with the CFMEU on changing legislation of all things on female toilets. 5 fucking years sitting there trying to change legislation to allow females to use toilets in privacy on a construction site. This is been trying to be negotiated with a Labor state government. As I said, I stood side by side with the CFMEU, stood side by side with the CFMEU women over this battle. And I can tell you right now that there is no way in this world the CFMEU Queensland branch in particular is misogynistic. Has anything against women in industry. If not, they are the biggest supporters of women in this construction industry. And I take my hat off to the CFMEU, and I would suggest that there should be more unions like the CFMEU when it comes to promoting women amongst the union movement. bill was promoted by Albo and his two scumbag mates, Penny Wong and Murray Watt. This is the bill that was going to clean up the construction industry. To me, I've worked in the construction industry all my life, and to me, it never wanted to be cleaned up. The only thing that needs to be cleaned up in the construction industry is the way that bosses want to stand over the workers. The way that they want to bring in unlawful fucking people to sit there and stop your union organisers from coming onto site to make it safe. To sit there and stop the unions from promoting better wages and conditions. So we can go home in one piece to our families and we can enjoy the simple things like weekends and RDOs like we had yesterday. This is the thing that Albo should be looking at. This is the thing that should be sorted out in our industry. Not getting rid of the CFMEU. That is just a crock of shit. Let's have a look at what this bill has actually done. First and foremost, Jade touched on it. They've got rid of close to now 300 CFMEU officials, whether it be an organiser, office staff, rank and file members. These people, in particular, the officers of the union, they have been punted with no right of reply. They were just told, see you later, you're gone. They haven't got access to Fair Work to sit there and say, I was unfairly dismissed. I can't have my say in court. What kind of democratic country are we living in? What kind of country sits there and presumes you're guilty and doesn't give you the chance to prove that you're innocent? This isn't a country I want to live in. This isn't a country I want my kids to grow up in. That's the country I was born in. 100%, brother. 100%. This is all because Albo wants to provide and protect his job, his wallet. Let me tell you, Albo, let me tell you, Murray Watt, and let me tell you, Penny Wong, you are sorely mistaken. We will make sure that you won't be in fucking power come the next election. We will fight this bill tooth and nail. At the moment, we've just been having rallies, as Wendell said. This is our second rally, and it's great to see the numbers. The numbers aren't dying. That gives me peace of mind that I am living in a democratic country, and I am living with people that can tell right from wrong. We will, in the future, be having more rallies. We will, in the future, when the time's right, take to the streets. We will be letting everyone know how angry and how unjust this legislation is if it is not pissed off before the next election. What this bill is, what Albo has done, what Penny Wong has done, what Murray Watt has done. They've handed the LMP that Margaret Fletcher wannabe, Michaelia Cash, the blueprint on how to fuck over the union movement. This is from the so-called Labor government. Unfucking believable. What this bill has done, particularly down in Victoria, since they've wiped out all their organisers, they've wiped out their senior office holders, it's left the building industry in disarray down there. Again, completely against what the bill was supposed to do. We've got building companies down there at the moment sitting there not honouring agreements
that were made. We've got guys down there working in the construction industry with the CFMEU. They've automatically taken a 5% pay cut because the building industry, the master builders in particular, are sitting there saying we don't have to honour the agreement we had with the CFMEU. We've got builders out there that are pushing to remove the RDOs. The RDOs that we had yesterday. Spend time with your family. Their idea is to move them. Take all those RDOs and put them over the shutdown over the Christmas break. They think it's fair that you work 6 days a week, all year. You don't need to see your family. This is what this bill has done. How is that improving the construction industry? How is that benefiting the CFMEU members? As I can tell you now, I can't see how it is. You know, I'd rather spend some time with my family. I can also tell you, there's companies out there that have gone out, undermining the agreements that are in place. There's companies going out, sitting there trying to negotiate agreements without organisers being present, telling the employers, you don't need the CFMEU. We're not going to rip you off. You know, how about you sign on to this agreement? Yeah, it is 5% less than what you've already got. Yeah, it hasn't got the RDOs in it. It hasn't got women in industry clauses. It hasn't got your protections that you've got. But you know what? It's all right. Trust us. Sign this. What a crock of shit. How's that? How is that helping the construction industry? How is that helping the CFMEU? Where's the administrator, I hear you say? Well, the administrator in Victoria, he's just pulled the pin. Why is that? Because he's a creep. He's the one that's sitting there harassing women in the office. He's the one that's been sitting there bullying people. How the fuck does that work for you now, Sally? Have a look at the pieces of shit that you're putting in place to run the CFMEU. Absolute shame. Absolute shame. Listen, I am mindful that there are other speakers and I don't want to keep this out here any longer than what we have to. But I will say this. If any of these building associations, whether it be the master electricians, the master painters, the master plumbers, the master builders, the master baiters, who cares? Any one of these workers think that they're going to come to Queensland and undermine the agreements that we've got in place, whether it's even the ALP, LNP. Well, I'm telling you, and I want to hear it from you guys, that we will down our tools straight away. We will leave the construction sites that we're on, and we will hit the streets, and we will fight. So I'll leave it at that, comrades. Thanks again for your support. Just to back up what Wendell said, thanks for the families, and thanks for those union members that are here under duress. Touch one, touch all. Thanks, guys.
Rohan, Lynch, thank you very much. With all the lies and misinformation that's getting around in the media, there's nothing more disgusting or putrid than the talk about CFMEU misogyny. I'd put it to you, a female construction worker on a construction site here in Queensland is a hell of a lot safer than a staffer in Canberra Parliament House. As events are called. With that in mind, we've got a couple of rank and file CFMEU female members to come up and have a yarn about the importance of the CFMEU and their lives in their industry. Can we welcome up on stage Ashley Lynch and Rohan Bailey. Good on you. Sorry about that, Robin Fletcher.
everyone, my name is Robin, and today I want to take a moment to talk to you about something that deeply resonates to me. The importance of belonging to a union. To give you a bit of background, I grew up in a coal mining town where every member of my family worked in the mines from a young age. I learned the strength of a workers' union is not just beneficial, it's essential. A strong union is the only organisation that will consistently stand up for the workers and fight for our safety. You can't rely on the goodwill of employers. History has shown us that time and time again. I want to share a tragic event that changed my perspective on workplace safety forever. My brother-in-law was killed in a coal mining accident. His untimely death devastated our family and our whole community. It was 36 years ago, but that pain remains fresh in my heart, especially as I now work as traffic controller in the construction industry. Each day I witness the hazards we face, and it's horrifying to know the accidents are still happening even now. When people hear the words union, they often think it's just about negotiating wages. But let me tell you, it's so much more than that. A strong union is a steadfast advocate for the safety of every worker on site. Our lives are on the line, and the CFMEU recognises that our safety is paramount. As a woman in this high-risk industry, I can tell you that having a union behind me is empowering. It ensures that I understand my right to work. It gives me the confidence to speak up without the fear of retaliation. I know that no matter what happens, I have the unwavering support of my union. Union membership means that we're not alone. We're part of a brotherhood and sisterhood that is committed to fighting for our rights and our safety. The CFMEU stands as a guardian advocating for safer work environments, better training, and essentially safety measures. We have the power to influence change, but we can only do it together. So as we move forward in our daily jobs, remember the importance of having a strong union by your side. It's not just about paychecks, it's about protecting our lives and ensuring that our families don't have to face the tragedies that many of us have endured. Let's stand together, support one another, and make sure that safety is our priority. It deserves to be. You all deserve to be safe. And the women in our union is growing day by day. And I actually heard a rumour that the CFMEU women are leaving in droves. I call bullshit. And that was from a member of Parliament. What do you girls think?
Yeah!
And also, my family, we're up to our 6th generation as unionists, and I'm very proud of that. Thank you.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. My name is Ash. Before I begin, I'd like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which Brisbane is situated, the Turrbal and Yarra peoples. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and recognise their ongoing connection to land, waters and culture. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. I've been a proud union member for 13 years. I first joined the construction industry back in 2011, and it was the construction cleaning company that I first started working with that signed me up to the union. At that time, I didn't fully grasp what the union stood for, but over the years, I've seen the stark difference between working on a non-EBA and non-EBA job. The contrast is undeniable. On EBA sites, safety is taken seriously with a genuine commitment to protecting workers. But beyond that, beyond the safety, it's a sense of camaraderie, the feeling of brotherhood and sisterhood that comes from being part of a union. That's a one-in, all-in spirit that makes me feel reassured that I'm never alone. I love being a woman in construction because it's empowering to break these stereotypes and thrive in a traditionally male-dominated field. The support I receive from the men on site, along with the union fighting for women's rights and having our backs, makes me feel valued for my skills and not just my gender. It's inspiring to show. It's inspiring to show my kids that with the support and determination, they can pursue any career they choose, no matter the expectations that society has set. The union sees us not just as workers, but as people with families, spouses, kids and parents. They understand the impact our work has on the lives of the people we love. The union has had a profound effect on my life and my children's lives, providing us with protection, stability and peace of mind, knowing that someone always has our back. Earlier this year, I went through as what I can only describe as the most catastrophic string of events I've ever faced. My world was turned upside down, and in the midst of that chaos, the union didn't just help me find a role that was less demanding mentally and physically. They gave me something I will never be able to thank them enough for. They gave me the chance to keep working. It's given me the chance to keep working and providing for my children, while also giving me the space to heal. It has allowed me to be the mother my children deserve and to show it to them in a way that I never could before. For that, I'm forever grateful to my union. In closing, I love my union because it stands for fairness, equality and the rights of every worker, including women in construction. It's a powerful force that ensures we all have a voice, and I'm proud to be a part of that. Together, we've made great strides, but there's still work to be done. I will continue to fight for what's right, not for just myself, but for our future generations, so they can step into this field knowing they have the support and respect they deserve. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Thank you very much. That was powerful. Thank you very much. Comrades, Lynch just asked me to give you a quick update from on his last speech at the last rally. Last time he was here, he talked to us about how we had the ETUs, all the state branches, the state secretary of the ETU. They went to the ACTU and they told them, you're not getting another cent out of us. We're going to redirect that money to fight what we need to fight and take on these unjust and draconian laws. We also did the same thing with the ALP. Since then, a few other developments have emerged, and I can tell you, as of not long after that, we actually disaffiliated from the ACTU. We don't want anything to fucking do with them. If your values and morals don't align with us, which is standing up for workers in this state, in this country, then we don't want to party. We're going to vote with our feet every day of the week. Not just the ACTU, it's the Queensland Council of Unions terms next. Last weekend we did the same thing to them. We're not having a fucking party. If you won't stand up for working families in this state, we're out too. Furthermore, we call on all other like-minded unions to talk to their leadership and do the same. All right, up next we've got State Secretary to the PPTEU, Queensland and Northern Territory branch, Gary O'Halloran.
Okay, comrades. It's great to see everyone here again today at a different area, but the numbers here are just unbelievable. I just want to thank the families that are here as well, because without the support of the family, it makes it a very hard job in the positions we are in. If it wasn't for your family, half the time, you wouldn't even be here. So I just want to start on one thing, and it's been a lot of years since I've seen anything like this happen, and this is probably worse. You go back to 1976, when the BLF were deregistered by a Labor government. Shame. And now we've got the same as that, a Labor government. a federal Labor government attacking the CFMEU Australia-wide. And you look at the guys that are here today. You've got Michael. You've had Jade here. You've got Kane Louth here. I've worked with these guys for a lot of years. I understand how they operate and how they work hard for their membership and their families. They do a great job. It is a shame for this government to come out and attack working class people. They have fought their asses off over the years to get the outcomes that we enjoy today. And not just for ourselves, but for our families as well. As a trade union, they go hard. But when you look at these allegations that are being made against them, it is bullshit. I have worked with them for a lot of years. The same as a lot of other people here. I've never seen nothing. I've never been asked about what they did, intimidation and do this and do that. I have never seen it. You can stand next to them every day and talk to them in regards to some of the problems that are out there on these construction jobs. And they work hard to fix it. And as a building trade group, ourselves, CFMEU, the ETU, the AMWU, we do what we can, which is best for our members. So for them to be trying to attack this union, it doesn't stop there. This is about attack on the union movement. And this government, state, federal, or whatever, would not be around here without the working class out there who has built this country and who has supported the Labor Party. Well, that is gone. The Labor Party is not going to get support from our union as well. We have also disaffiliated with the ACTU. That money is not going to them anymore. We will share that for the best of the industry and for the best for the CFMEU. Your union, your choice. My suggestion is everyone in this park, whether you're a member of the Plumbers Union, the ETU, the AMWU, you support them. Because what they've done, as I said, they have done everything to support all workers out there and their families. So I will leave it at that. I just want to once again thank you to the leaders, which I will still class as leaders of the union, and I hope one day we see them back, because we need them.
Thank you very much, Gary. Up next, we've got the QTU, Queensland Teachers Union Rank and File member, Barrigos. Good on you, Ben.
Thanks, Linda. Good day, everyone. I'm extremely proud to stand here today alongside you, comrades, and extend a message of solidarity to all CFMEU members, your workplace delegates, and your elected officials. And I'm glad to say that I stand here with some of my comrades from QTU Fight Back. I'm a workplace delegate out at Goodna, where I teach on Yagara and Garagal people's land. And I'm a rank and file member and activist of my union who thought that the most important thing that we could do last month when my state council, the highest decision-making body of my union, met, was to move a motion of solidarity with CFMEU members. And I saw it as a responsibility of all unionists in this moment to extend that solidarity, because this attack that the Labor government has launched on the CFMEU is a precedent-setting attack on democracy and all unionists in this country, and it must be resisted. Support for democracy for union members should be unionism 101 in this country, but unfortunately it isn't. Honestly, as a rank and file delegate, I can say that in my union alone, it is too wanting on this front, with officials that have been too often prepared to collaborate with bosses first, too prepared to accept shitty deals that cut against the interests of our members, too prepared to make excuses for government who have shown no interest in workers' rights, and to ignore balance from members to strike action when we need it to fight for our conditions. And that's the same. For decades in this country, workers' interests have come last in our industrial landscape. Our rights definitely don't rate in the disgusting scum media. If you needed evidence of that, you can see them opportunistically attacking unions in this country. Shame on you! Disgracefully, it's been the bosses who've been able to set the agenda of industrial relations, and the Labor governments and politicians who, when the bosses say we want to attack workers, they just lay down and say, how high can we fucking jump for you? They need to be on our side, honestly. The truth is that we need more democracy for union members in this country. We need more democracy to safeguard our industrial rights, and unions that will defy the bosses and their industrial courts in the interest of our rights. This democracy, a voice for workers' rights, we're only going to win it if we fight for it, and that's what this fight is about. I'm also extremely proud to say that the QPU is the only teachers' union that I know of in this country who has put a vote to their members about whether or not we join the CFMEU. That was me who moved that motion, and my members in my union said, yes, we're with the CFMEU. I couldn't stand before you as a union militant and a teacher militant without recognising that last week there were some disgraceful comments made by women union leaders like Sally McManus and the so-called federal education union officials, my great industry. Those women unionists shamefully lined up with the administrator using the rhetoric of support for women to attack unions and take the CFMEU. Shame on you! I'm a unionist from a women-dominated industry, and I can say with confidence that the only way to defend women workers' rights is to build fighting unions who challenge the bosses, who benefit from our oppression. They benefit from the gender pay gap. They benefit from our shit conditions of work. The conditions that compromise our safety. For too long, education unions have shied away for a fight for their members' rights that is necessary. And we've seen our conditions worsen precisely because of what's at stake now. Class collaboration, obeying the industrial court, and accepting subpar pay offers from our employer, the government. New South Wales nurses, I want to shout out to them today as well, because they're another women-dominated industry. And this week they've gone on strike for the second time this year to demand a 15% pay increase that they deserve. And those women workers will prepare to strike to disobey the official establishment, the industrial court, the framework of the government and the bosses. They're showing the way because they show us that if we don't fight, we lose. They show us that bad have won our rights is when we've been prepared to move our industrial muscle, withdraw our labour and strike. And on that note, I want to give a massive shout out to our comrades on the Cross River Rail project. You comrades have been fighting a heroic battle for months for an agreement to secure equal pay and safe work conditions to prevent deaths on site. And I want to reiterate the solidarity that was in our motion for the QTU rank and file today and say we are with you in that fight. Thank you for showing the way. We all have a lot to learn from you, comrades. Because it's about common interest, isn't it? That's what's at stake. It may not look to a lot of people on the outside, definitely not in the media, like we have common interest, yeah? Me and you, white-collar workers, blue-collar workers, teachers, construction workers, but we still have common interest. Make no mistake, public school teachers are workers whose safety is under threat every single day on the job. And our employer, the government, has done nothing to improve those conditions. So the solidarity we give to you is not just words. It's about recognition that we're in a common fight to secure the safety of workers in Queensland. That's a fight that depends on safeguarding our democratic right to use our industrial muscle and strike when needed, and to elect officials who will pull the trigger and stop work to save their members' lives. That's all of our interest. So thanks again for having me. I want to end by saying that the only response to a hysteric attack on unions has to be a historic battle of resistance. That resistance, as Wendell and other speakers have said and Jade said, is only just beginning. This is the beginning of a fight, we know it. But I'm very proud to say that in that struggle, QTU rank and file members of Fight Back extends its maximum solidarity to you, comrades. That's one, that's all, and if you don't fight, we lose.
Comrades, up next we've got the AMWU Queensland and Northern Territory State Secretary. Please welcome Rohan Webb.
Thanks, Wendell. Well, comrades, that is definitely a hard act to follow, and I take your hat off to your sister. My friends, we meet again and we'll meet more in the future. The headwinds are against us right now, but we have a stern hand on the rudder. We have the sails full of wind, and we'll see through this. Because we are now in uncharted waters, as many speakers spoke of before. But we as the trade union movement in this country have spent our lives in uncharted waters. From enemies and foes from all persuasions. But one thing that's always united us is our common good, and that we organise, and we are organised labour in this country. But it's because of organised labour, men and women like yourself, that we enjoy the spoils we have. We'd like to have more, and we'll continue to campaign for more. But my friends, if it wasn't for us, and we need to remember the work we've done over many years, in this state alone, we, the combined unions, fought hard under the stewardship of the CFMEU to introduce industrial manslaughter laws. We won that, the workers of this country. We improved safety standards on the job. Same pay, same job. So to make sure there isn't a second class of workers within this country. We have fought for EBAs across this state and across this country which deliver decent wages and conditions to make sure we can go home, spend time with our families. The common denominator is us, and I think we should shout out and recognise the many, if not the thousands and tens of thousands, who would have been here, like to have been here today, to show their support, to show their solidarity in regards to the plight we see ourselves ahead. I am confident of one thing, as my union and all unions represented here today, we will stare down the headwinds against us, we will continue to campaign, we will continue to agitate, and we will bring this to an end in one form or another. But the only way we can do that is with the support of you, the trade unionists in this country, the public in this country, who stand shoulder to shoulder to give us what we've got. My friends, you have bravely come out, and as I said earlier on before, with threats of illegal industrial action and things like that, well, I say one thing. As organised labour in this country, and I'm not a God-fearing man, it is our God-given right to withdraw our labour when things are wrong. It is our right to withdraw our labour when we're put in an unsafe work environment. And it is within ours and our power to withdraw our labour if our conditions are under attack. And that is the key point I want to touch with today. They may think they've weakened the CFMEU, and in weakening the CFMEU, weaken the rest of the trade union movement. Like all unions represented today here, whether it be in the construction industry, the transport industry, the manufacturing industry, we have fought long and hard campaigns to get the conditions we've got. But none so more than the CFMEU and the BTG in the construction industry, where we've delivered decent safety, we've delivered decent terms and conditions of employment. And as we speak right now, across this country, associations, bosses, unions are conspiring because they see blood in the water. They think the unions have been weakened by this latest effort. And one thing that we will send a very loud message today, not only here but across the country, you come after our terms and conditions, we will affront you and with every possible means we have to defend the industry conditions we have in place. Many of you and other workers around this country have lost wages by taking protected industrial action to make sure we've got the terms and conditions of what we've got. But we are not going to allow anyone to come in and think that we have been weakened by this latest situation we find ourselves in. We will navigate our way through this as we have navigated it in the past. But my clear message to any employer, any bosses union, anyone out there, you come after our terms and conditions, you try to weaken the safety standards we have fought for, we have delivered, we will come after you. Friends, in closing, as I said, the headwinds are against us and we're in uncharted waters. But I take the greatest confidence as you look to the brother or the sister beside you right now and the tens of thousands of brothers and sisters who aren't with us today, who share our passion, share our conviction. It is we, the mighty trade union movement in this country, delivered for working men and women. We have influenced political parties of all persuasions. We've held bosses to account and we've held corporations to account. You remember the proud long history of what we've done. You stand proud, you stand tall, you are union, we will deliver and we will come out the other side of this. Solidarity to you, comrades.
Thank you very much. All right, comrades, we've got one more speaker before we close up. A man that needs no introductions. CFMEU rank and file member and High Court challenge plaintiff, Michael Ravbar.
Thanks, Wendell. It's one thing I haven't been called a High Court plaintiff. Don't want to be, but I am, all right? So first of all, I want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we meet on, pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Also want to acknowledge Thor, Uncle Bob, and also I want to acknowledge all the First Nations people here today. I want to say a few things, and I've got to be careful what I say here today, because as part of being a High Court plaintiff, and I did mention at the last rally that I was going to put my hand up with Kane Louth, is that I want to talk also about the campaign where we are. I'm proud as punch to be here. I'm missing you as that I'm looking at here. You are my family, the union family. Is that I want to say thank you for all the support that you've given me, Kane and Jade. We're all unemployed, but fuck, we're busy as being unemployed. It's been game on the last 3 weeks, putting the campaign together. It's not easy being a small group, but we're a determined group. Because why we want to put back your union in your hands. Your union was stolen. The process that they did was undemocratic, it was un-Australian and it was unconstitutional. And since we've started the campaign going, and we'll talk about the High Court in a minute, is the financial support, the support of everyone else in the trade union has been phenomenal. You heard from a lot of speakers here today. I've been looking forward to seeing Beck because I've got the contact. I heard about what she's been doing and I said bring her along. I actually haven't met Beck, but fuck me dead, wasn't she phenomenal? All these speakers that have been here today, this is part of the campaign. I know that you hear about the High Court, and the High Court won't be the silver bullet. But what we've got to do is make sure, as a movement, that the people that are trying to destroy the CFMEU, that we destroy them. People like Sally McManus, who has actually sold out on workers in this country. I've met a lot of trade union leaders with Jade over the last fortnight, and I can tell you it's on. People are telling from all different unions, not just in the construction sector and the blue collars, but the meat workers union, the firefighters, heaps of other unions, is telling Sally that your position is untenable. She could have prevented this, but because of her personal vendetta against John Setka, is that she has just made the decision to shaft all workers in this country. People are now realising Sally is a sellout, and she should do the right thing and die on her sword or on the basis of what she did wrong. But I don't think she cares about the movement. If we're ever going to make change, is we've got to remove the cancer that's within the trade union movement. And if people like Sally, and I heard about the education union leader, is that they don't listen to their members. And what Beck says, because what I see, I'm bloody hopeless on the Facebook, me, Jade and Kane, you might look like 3 dinosaurs trying to work it all out with the social media. But suddenly, we've been focused on that. That's part of the campaign. It's social media, political and everything else. And what we are seeing from other people out there in the community and other trade unions is we have got the teachers, we have got the nurses. So when Sally went out there all polished, trying to pretend that she, was doing the right thing and trying to double down, I reckon 90 to 95% of the responses by workers out there all around the country condemned her. If she can't read the tea leaves, and the ACTU executive, some of the people on there can't see that, unfortunately they get absorbed in their own self-importance and they backslap, they hang around the political circle and they forget to ask their members what they think. And Beck hit the nail on the head, is that these people don't ask what their members think. And what I saw on social media against Sally is not just the momentum, but the wave for change. Because the only way that you fix these things is the people who do attack the CFMEU and the rest of the trade union need to go. You all in agreement? Yeah. The other thing that we want to talk about is we want to make sure that the Labor Party gets the same message. You heard from all these other speakers, is that who would have thought the way that the Labor state and federal brought in the worst workplace laws ever in this country. We've got the opportunity, I said at the last rally, you had 3 things to do with the Labor Party. We had the Northern Territory, we had the Queensland election, and you actually had the federal election, all within about 8 months. So I gave you a job to do, and what happened is that in Northern Territory, they got wiped out. Delia, who was the leader up there, so Eva Lawler, the leader in the Northern Territory, she was the first one to come out there, try to carry on with criminal gangs and the links and all the other rubbish and dribble. I love banging their gums, but they don't do much, these politicians, is that we campaigned in her seat and she got the biggest swing against her. I was proud as punch that night to see her wiped out and her people, because again, they're not workers. They're not representing the working class. And what we need to do, you've got 5.5 weeks for Miles. I'll tell you, and I think I don't need to tell the converted here, but we need to get out there broader, because he's the worst Labor Premier that I've ever seen. And the reason why I say that is that you look at outcomes, and what he's done in his very short term is that he brought in the worst workplace laws ever in the state of Queensland, which affects all workers, especially workers that work for the state government, teachers, nurses and all that. He didn't do anything on developer licensing. After 5 years of fighting for females' toilets, he's done nothing for that. Also, with the health and safety and other changes that he's made, he actually hasn't represented workers. But what he's been quite clearly doing, he's in there with the developers and big business. And because he decided to try and destroy this fucking union, we destroy him. So what I want to ask you on the 26th, I will ask you what we're going to do. You're going to say vote him out. What are we going to do with the Labor Party on October the 26th? Didn't quite hear. Are we going to do it? So that's what we need to do. That's part of the campaign and strategy. Until we change the Labor Party and start representing the working class of all workers and stop representing the bosses. The bosses don't vote Labor. What I'm seeing even nationally with Albo, same thing. He's got an election 8 months away. The treachery and the dishonesty and the attack on the working class, not just of the CFMEU, this is not just the fight of this union, it's a fight for all workers. And then what you've seen with this bloke, I've always said I've never rated him. He's one of these guys that might be good in opposition, but in leader, he's weak, he hasn't got the leadership. Since the voice referendum, he's gone to sleep. He's doing deals with the Libs on IR, who would have thought that? Aged care doing deals, NDIS doing deals. He's forgotten how to be a leader in this country. And what he doesn't like is when our union and other unions criticise him about housing, criticise him about the cost of living. Why? Because we are an organisation. Everything that you do has a political connotation about your work. So we stand up for you, whoever's in government, and tell them when they're not doing a good job. But how the Labor then goes about it is that they want to destroy their opponents. And that's what they're trying to do with the CFMEU, because you're strong and active and a militant and a very progressive union, and they don't like it. It's a bit like the Reserve Bank. They're not getting their way in regards to the interest rates. So what do? Personally attack the Reserve Bank. Well, hang on. Interest rates are only one dynamic in regards to the cost of living crisis that we're in. But that's what they're doing. They're not doing the job. And when you're attacking working class people such as yourselves, is that this force that I'm looking at here in front of us, governments can't ignore. You can try and wipe out 300 leaders of the CFMEU, but you can't wipe out the rest. We only need 302,000 people to be exact in this country to change their vote. And you look at the construction sector, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of workers, 1.4 million around this country. You talk to your family and friends, you talk to your workmates, you talk to people in the community, is that I'm pretty certain that when May comes, is that Albo needs to go. I am shocked that the people there at the moment are keeping them in leadership, because I reckon Labor's gone. And that's their fault. They can always have best form of a tax diversion. I've heard about some of this misogyny. I've been around a long time. Is that we've always been very progressive in regards to women's rights issues, not just the toilets that you heard today. Your union is the biggest employer of apprentice women in this state. Not the state government, not the private sector, your union. I'm very proud of what we do for the CFMEU union. 3 out of your 4 directors were women. I know it's a male-dominated industry, but we care for it. We fight for equality, and that's what this union's all about. So we're still going to be doing all that, but as I said, as part of this campaign, get on the social media in regards for the Raisley, get out there, support it, get your family and friends, because part of this campaign, as I mentioned before, is the media, is the industrial, like rallies such as this, is the political, also in regards to the High Court. The High Court will be heard expedite. What that means is going to be heard fairly quickly before Christmas. That's unusual for the High Courts. Remember the High Court? They can decide when they want to hear matters. But they've agreed to expedite it. Why? Because everyone in the legal fraternity and around Australia is watching this case. This is one up there like the MUA back in 1998. This is about fairness and justice, natural justice, about abuse of power, the executive powers of government. So this case, and I know a lot of people keep asking me about it, we've got 4 points with it, is that we'll be talking about the separations of powers, because what the government wants to be, and what's never been seen in this country, if you've got an opponent and you don't like what they're doing, you become judge and jury. What historically has happened in Australia is that when you're the government, you set the laws, and the judicial system then enforces it and complies and does what it does. But no, not with this one, not with the CFMEU, we're going to be judge and jury. So what that means is if there is this criminality and corruption out there in the industry, we don't need the police anymore. We're going to take care of it. We're going to give this extraordinary power to the administrator. The same thing with the judicial system. The courts have no say, so why have any judges in this country? When people talk about, I heard back there, fascists, neo-Nazis and all that type of stuff, is that it is over the top. But when you start having forums such as this, and me and Jade and Kane have done a lot of meetings over the last few weeks, the light bulb has come on for Australians out there. Because if a government doesn't like you, what they have to do is say, oh, we're going to change the laws for the public interest. But with the public interest, they don't have to say why. So they've got this extraordinary power. It's never happened in this country ever. And as you know, as voting people, you should never give any government too much power. But to attack decent, hard-working people, because you're standing up telling the government they're doing a shit job and then trying to destroy this great union, well, that'll never happen. Because as I said, you're the force that's out there and we've got to keep the campaign going. Just before I finish up, I just want to thank the other unions so far that have been helping out. When Jade and I were down in Melbourne the other day, we met the Communication Workers Union, we met the CPU, we met the plumbers, and we met a lot of other trade unions down there, the firefighters, the medias, you name it, all wanting to meet us on the basis of what can we do. And that has shown that the rest of the trade union movement wants to support. That is the vast majority. Sometimes out of a negative situation there is a positive. We will create that. But I want to thank the ETU. They were the first ones to stump up in regards to the High Court, and we appreciate that. Other unions now are participating in the campaign. As I said, the social media is that the way you get these things changed is political. This whole thing about the CFMEU is political. Is that we haven't seen anyone charged with criminality and corruption. There hasn't even been an allegation in Queensland. So it's a bit of a long stretch. I saw Murray Watt use the report of the CFMEU yesterday. Well, we actually went and told Murray, and we told Burke, and we told the rest of the Labor government, is that we will get an independent guy called Watson from IBAC. We will go and get other barristers in, and we will try and remove and sort the problem out. The government said, no, not doing it, is that we're going to put you in administration. But guess what? I don't know if he's a dickhead or a fucking idiot, Murray, is that he decided that he might try and use the report to justify it. Well, hang on, mate, is that we were cleaning the house out, like other unions have done over the years. Is the end of the day, you people were supposed to go and vote 4 weeks' time throughout the whole of Australia. The CFMEU, you decide. You're pretty brutal and you're honest, you're hard-working, and what you don't like is either dodginess, either issues of allegation and corruption. Why? Because it's your union. So you will always decide on who you think can do the job. We go through the Australian Electoral Commission like politicians, but they denied you the right to have a say in your union. As you've heard from other leaders, your union was hijacked, and we're never going to stop till it gets in your hands. So when I talk about this campaign over the next 8 to 12 months, that is the campaign. Don't expect the High Court to be the silver bullet. As I said, we're going to talk about separation of powers, all those stuff. There's even one of the arguments is that, I don't know if you remember the castle. Remember Darryl and Dale Kerrigan? And you have the lawyer, what's his name, Donito? I don't think we'll take him. But we're going off to the High Court because one of the arguments is about property. It's quite clear in Australia is if you actually take ownership of property and can't compensate that person, is that is one of the issues in regards to constitutional challenge. Everything about it is unconstitutional. Why I say that is that as you heard from Jade today, is that he's got control of your property. But you people, CFMEU, you own it, he doesn't, and how can he compensate you? He compensated himself. So all these arguments are there, the political freedom arguments there. Hope that we win in the court. There should be a decision by February next year, everyone's telling me. As I said, everyone in Australia is watching this particular case. It's an extraordinary abuse of power, and to do what they're doing has never been seen in Australia. So that's why everyone's looking at it, not just from the legal fraternity, not from just the trade union movement, the business community and everyone else, but so should you, because at the end of the day, what we're doing with this campaign, and I always go on campaigns with momentum. And since we started out, and when we made that announcement, as I said, it's been fucking full on. And, you know, who would have thought, as I said earlier, being unemployed was going to be like this. But as I said, we're a determined lot. They shouldn't have picked on Queensland NT. They shouldn't have picked on anyone in the CFMEU. Is that these people who've done the wrong thing, you know what you need to do come on October the 26th. You know what you need to do early next year. But the rest of the trade union movement knows what we need to do, is to get rid of Sally and Michelle and that, try and get a collective that actually works for the working class. And as I said, I want to thank, before I finish, everyone in this room with your messages of support to us three in regards to where we are. As I said, you know us three, we work hard anyway, but we're determined. But what I'm more pleased about is the rest of the collective out there, not just in the construction sector, but other blue-collar unions, people like Beck and others in the community who have got behind it, because as I said, the light bulb has come out there for the rest of Australia, because if they get away with this argument in industrial relations in trying to shut down the CFMEU, every government will use it for other different types of legislation. So this is about democracy. We believe that it is unconstitutional. We're not going to just hang out saying that the High Court is going to be the silver bullet. We're going to keep campaigning and fighting, because the only way this is going to be sorted out is a political solution, and some of these people that actually want to hurt you people, we want to remove. Thank you for listening. Get involved in the campaign. We are going to win, because you're the force that cannot be beaten. Thank you.
Marley, Michael's daughter, Marley, come up here. Kane and Amy, come on, come up here. As we said for Jade before, this is the families of the people involved. They're the people that give them the strength and the courage to go on. So let's give them all a big round of applause.
Michael Ravbar! You say here to stay! Michael Ravbar!
Here to stay! 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 All right, thank you. Yes. We're nearly done. We're nearly done. We've got a resolution here to run through you. We want to hear what you've got to say on it. This community rally expresses its outright disgust at the administration of the CFMEU Construction and General Division. Accusations on a TV show about a few people do not justify a complete takeover of the union. Construction workers fully endorse the Building Trades Group, the BTG, working together to ensure that industry employers are held to account in respect of important industry standards. Our safety and living standards are not negotiable. We demand from the leaders, all of the leaders of the BTG unions, a strong and united presence on the jobs. We also resolve to hold this administrator to account. The revenue and asset base of the CFMEU belong to the rank and file members of the CFMEU, not to an unelected person appointed by a politician. There are already stories of administrators working part-time, blowing money on flash, cars, offering pay rises for loyalty, and even engaging in predatory conduct against female staff. Where's shame? How dare the federal government expose our members, staff and officials to this type of conduct? The hypocrites in Parliament have betrayed the working class and betrayed core Labor values. This meeting fully endorses the Your Union, Your Choice campaign and the High Court challenge to defeat this outrageous attack. Can I get a seconder? Can I get a show of hands of all those in favour? I'd say that's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, comrades. Before we finish up, there's just a couple of things. Most of you should have gotten a little piece of paper that's floating around with a QR code. If you haven't, come down the front. We've got a heap more down here. What that is, you scan it. It lets you donate money towards the campaign. It is running on the smell of an oily rag at the moment. It's going to take a lot of money to keep going, and it's going to cost a lot if we don't fight this campaign and win. Yeah. So if you get an opportunity, do it. One last thing to say. Most of us in the construction industry, we're not born with silver spoons in our mouths. Even if we're smart enough to go to uni, we probably couldn't afford it, and our parents couldn't afford it. Everything we've got, we've fought, sacrificed and struggled for. And these bastards in the political and ruling classes, they're coming to take it off you. Everything we've got is because we've organised collectively, and we fought to ensure the conditions we enjoy. When you hear the Courier Mail or the news talking about a traffic controller on a fucking wage of 200,000 or 150,000, that's not an attack on the wages, it's an attack on the dignity of that worker. Saying that they don't deserve it because they're a worker, they're not educated, they're from the working class and they shouldn't have it. Well, fucking shame on them. They didn't get it because the bosses are kind-hearted and they gave it to them. They got it because we dragged it kicking and fucking screaming off them. That's ours and we're going to keep it and we're going to continue to fight to keep it. Being a union official and a unionist in this industry, we see the lowest of the lows and the highest of the highs, and at the moment we're fucking up against it. We've got every card stacked against our deck. But through adversity comes strength, and I can tell you, the BTG, the Building Trades Group of unions, you're not going to see us taking a backward step. We're more united than we've ever been in my fucking working life, and we're going to be here, we're going to struggle, and we're going to be here till victory, and we're going to win, yeah? All right, comrades, thank you very much. One last thing. The last two rallies has been the best I've ever seen of yous. The media, they're just dying to see some of us on the piss, staggering out of the pubs, getting in blues and punches on, in the high vis or especially with a CFMEU shirt on. Let's not give the bastards a free kick, yeah? If we're going to have a beer, let's treat everyone with respect and we'll catch up with our mates and our comrades and we'll have a beer because we work hard and we play hard. But let's also do it intelligently, militant, right? It's all well and good being militant, but as long as we're intelligent with it, we're going to keep going. We need to be disciplined. So let's start that off for today. If you're going to have a beer in the city, be smart. You're better off going into your local and your suburbs and supporting them, yeah? All right, comrades, thank you very much. Have a good day.